morning, folks. Welcome back to Three's End. So we started the week here with physical training and a physical. We lost one of our classmates during the physical, and now we begin heading out to our auxiliary airfield at Stinson Field there in southern San Antonio for T-41 training. T-41's a Cessna 172, just very basic aircraft. But it was exciting to think about flying and soloing in that airplane, at least for somebody like me. I did not have hardly any flying experience at all. I didn't have a private pilot's license. I had been thrown out of the flying program at Bowling Green because of color vision issues. And so I was very excited to get going into pilot training. We would muster in the parking lot of the base photo lab at dark 30 or 1 o'clock, depending on whether we were on early week or late week, for a 35-minute, 40-minute ride from Randolph over to Stinson every day. And some of the guys on that bus ride would be chattering, other guys would be sleeping, other guys just staring out the window alone in their thoughts and so forth. But we'd show up at a hangar over there, and for the most part, I think for all of it, our instructors were civilian instructors, contracted instructors. And mine was a fellow named Walter McCain, and I really liked Mr. McCain. Just an easygoing, laid-back kind of guy, and I just enjoyed flying with him. I don't know what his background is. He may have told us, and I've forgotten, and regretfully so. But at any rate, after our introduction and orientation, I had my first flight on the 29th of April 1970. Now, the 27th was on a Monday, so Monday, Tuesday, on that Wednesday. So they didn't waste a lot of time getting us into the air. We'd had, in academics, we'd had some basic orientation about introduction to aerodynamics and so forth. So, you pull the stick back and the trees get smaller, and push the stick forward, trees get bigger and so forth. Okay. So, Mr. McCain and I go out there that first ride. I do remember a little bit of this. And he's kind of taking me around on the walk around, pointing out things I need to check and so forth, and make sure the airplane's untied. That's a good thing. Unfortunately, we had another guy wash out of our class during the walk around. He would get to the nose gear and throw up, and just couldn't help himself. And it happened about 3 or 4 times. And after a while, they said, "We just don't know if you'll be able to make it," and he eventually didn't. That was sad because I really liked that guy. At any rate, so we get in the airplane, and I had seen a movie called The Grand Prix, and I reckon Formula One driving was kind of like flying a Cessna 172. What an idiot. Anyway, so I get in this airplane, and I had no idea. Truly, I didn't. So I get in this airplane, and I put my seat back because I want to sit out there like this with my legs and my arms extended. So I put my seat back, and I think, man, I am some kind of cool cat. This is going to really be great. So anyway, we get the airplane started up, go through our checks, and taxi out to the runway for takeoff, and get cleared for takeoff. Mr. McCain says, "Okay, Bob, you ready to go?" "Yes, sir." And he says, "Go for it." So I add the power. Well, hell, it never dawned on me when you add that power like that. I went back in the seat. I couldn't reach anything at that point. He's just sitting over there snickering. He knew it all along. Anyway, he took the airplane, got us airborne, and gave me some time to humbly bring my seat up and get settled in. Anyway, so we get out the area, and he introduces me to the area work we did, starting out with some turns and some climbs and descents and so forth. And boy, I really enjoyed that. Also took us around, gave us orientation of prominent landmarks out there south of San Antonio, around Pleasantville or Pleasanton, Texas, somewhere in there. There was a huge reservoir. I think it's Calaveras Lake. So that was always a nice thing to have in the back of your mind for orientation. So eventually we got into stalls and falls and some other things. Then he introduced me to emergency landings, and God, I love those things. I don't know what it is or why it was, but the idea was he'd bring the throttle back to idle and to simulate engine failure. You had to look around, find a field, and then maneuver the aircraft to put it into a position to land based on the winds that you had been briefed back at the flight room. God, I love that. That was really challenging. They were just sitting there flying around. Okay, I can do that. And when he pulled that throttle idle, I thought, oh, throw me in that briar patch. And I really enjoyed that. At any rate, started on the 29th of April, and on the 18th of May is when I soloed. And in between my first flight and my solo flight was one unsat. Pissed me off. I can't remember what it was today, why I had that unsat. I think, as I was looking over this material for the video, I think it was because he felt I needed one more ride prior to solo than normally they would give. And so he unsatted me, and that gave me that ride, and off I went. That seems to ring a bell for me. But anyway, I didn't like it. It kind of was a signal to knuckle down and study harder, maybe. I don't know. But it worked out fine. After solo, then, I had a mid-phase check, scored 91 on it. And then we graduated with 30 hours in that program, of which I think 6.2 were solo. So very enjoyable phase of flying that was in that time. When we did solo, they didn't have a tank to throw us in. They sat us on a tire and hosed us down. Well, that works. And then change into another flight suit for the ride back home. Boy, that was an exciting period of time. So after 6 weeks of T-41 training and academics and physical training, we were off to T-37s. And that's where it got really fun. But all in all, it was a good phase of my training, and I really, really had fun with it. I've been back to Stinson Field a few times since I graduated from pilot training, and I always like to just kind of sit there in the stillness and just think about those days. God, they were fun days. That being said, next time I talk to you, we're going to be heading into tweets. This is Bobo. Base gear. Stop.